Hello everyone, I pray you're all well. You're welcome to today's lecture on principles, requisite attitudes, and behavior for use of participatory methods and tools. So let's start by looking at the principles that are used in applying participatory methods and tools. We see that these principles are important because they discourage the unparticipatory methods and tools. So the first principle is exchanging ideas leads to debate and action. And we see that since the processes encourage free expression of opinion and need, there is normally a debate about the changes that are existing within the community. So the processes also help in defining the desired changes, and this motivates community members to implement the agreed activities. The second principle is interactive process. We see that participation is a very interactive process which develops and occurs over a significant period of time. So we therefore see that participatory methods and tools would require to be used with a lot of patience and commitment from all community members. Then the third principle is multiple perspective, and we see that perceptions change depending on the perspective that someone is using to look at something. We have some examples here of images which people can look at and perceive in different ways. You can think that A is for a queen and image B is for a bird. But when we go ahead, you realize that image A is actually for an old woman, whereas image B is for a rabbit. So depending on how you look at things or from which angle you are when looking at given issues, we can all have different perspectives. So when you're dealing with community members, you should also go with the same principle. So it is mainly for this reason that participatory processes try to include as many perspectives as possible in terms of. First one is facilitators team composition. We see that this should be multidisciplinary and it should have all gender groups. Then tools and techniques. We should use quite a number of techniques. For example, interviewing, mapping, diagramming, writing, observing, discussing, or using secondary data. Then for sources of information, we should look at resource people. We can also consider secondary data like literature, maps, and films. Then in terms of interest groups, we should consider women, men, elderly people, youth, and different socioeconomic groups. We should also look at different professions in the community and different ethnic groups. So when we use group methods, we see that numerous expert opinions can emerge through group analysis and interaction. Principle number 7 is self-critical awareness. We see that the eyes can see one thing and the mind can choose to think about something else. For example, when you're looking at the images above, one can look at letters within the images, or someone can choose to look at the shapes. So if you're a facilitator, you have to be extremely careful and constantly analyze your own biases. So you might end up pushing your own bias to the entire community when you're facilitating participatory processes. So now let's look at the requisite participatory attitudes and behavior. The first attitude is that everyone's idea of you counts. So what we normally neglect is that different groups or individuals have different perceptions about issues. So therefore, because of this, you should ensure that everyone's idea of you is respected when you're working in a community. So that therefore, everyone's contribution matters. These contributions can complement each other in the long run. The second attitude or behavior is the learning attitude. So facilitators and other people involved in the participatory processes should adopt a learning attitude. This means that they should be open to new ideas from other people that they are working with. The third attitude or behavior is transparency. When implementing participatory processes, there should be transparency in order to avoid hidden agendas and suspicions among the different parties. So it will therefore prevent situations in which all parties try to protect their own interests rather than finding the most suitable compromise. The fourth attitude or behavior is flexibility. So we see that there is need of being open to people's ideas and opinions, however difficult this might be. So accepting the reality that people have different ideas and beliefs requires a lot of flexibility. So you need to be highly flexible when dealing with different communities, different age groups, and different cultures. And then the fifth one is positive working style. We see that a positive working style encourages openness to actively listen to other views and sharing of opinions without taking reactive or reactionary positions. So this working style is opposite to the hierarchical and authoritarian working approaches, but we also see that it is structured. So this style therefore promotes working together. Thank you for listening, and in case you have any questions, kindly forward them so that we discuss them in our next virtual session. May God bless you.